What is going on, guys? We are on the heels of going to Florida. We're going to take that drive once again. So, before we take the drive, me and Max are just spending some quality time. Man and his best friend. Before we get... We're going to be away for 2 weeks, Max. It's alright. So, I just wanted to come out here and take some time and tell you guys about the drive to Florida. So I get asked a lot of questions on my YouTube videos. I think I'm one of the #1 YouTubers for providing content when it comes to driving down to Florida. Excuse me, I have some notes. Sorry. Alright, so as you guys know, we're headed to Florida. And we're driving to Disney World annually, like we usually do. I have family down there, so we usually go to Disney and then we spend time with my family. But I just wanted to give people tips. If you're not quite sure of how the drive is, I thought I'd give you some tips. So, first off, why do I choose to drive? I've had airplane experiences where we had so many delays I would have got there quicker to drive, believe it or not. Even though it's a 17-hour drive, it took longer to fly. I've gotten luggage lost a few times, and I just overall don't like airplanes. I don't like flying in them. I'm kind of scared. And they're pricey. They're very expensive. I do fly when I have to fly, when I'm going further than Florida. Florida to me is, you could do it in one sitting. I feel like it's not necessary to take a plane. Flying is so expensive, you save so much money driving, but because when you get there, you still need a car anyways, so if you have the mileage on your car, you might as well just use your car and drive there. Alright, so that leads me to questions that I get asked a lot on my YouTube videos. How many stops does it take for gas driving New Jersey to Florida? It takes about 3 to 4 stops. The thing is, you're not stopping for gas. When you're taking a 1,000+ mile road trip, anytime you need to stop to maybe go to the bathroom, maybe you need a drink, maybe you just want to stretch your legs, you're going to get gas. So pretty much any stop turns into a gas stop. But there have been times where we just drove, and didn't stop for much. I think it took 3 or 4 fill-ups. It doesn't take many stops for gas. It's about a 1,100-mile trip. It's roughly $150 to $200, depending on your vehicle, to get to Florida one way. Which, when you have a family of 4, that's a savings of a lot more, considering airplane. Then I get asked about cruise control a lot. Is it cruise control most of the way? In New Jersey, it's very condensed. In Washington, it's very condensed. And even in North Virginia, it's kind of condensed. At the end of Virginia, and then you get to your Carolinas, most of that's cruise control. So, cruise control, yes, most of the way. And it makes for a very easy trip. Another question I get asked a lot is, should you stop or should you drive straight through? We have stopped many of times. There's been a couple times where we have stopped and the hotel wouldn't even let us check in yet because it was just before check-in time. And we were all the way in Savannah, Georgia, which from Savannah, Georgia, there's only a couple more hours left to Florida. So for us, we kind of stopped stopping because we have to leave in the middle of the night. More on that later. So we just stopped stopping. We have 3 drivers in the vehicle, 2 very good ones, and we feel like we could do the trip easily. We have done it easily, nonstop. Saves us time, and then we get to spend more time in Florida. But I will tell you one thing. If you do choose to not stop, it is very tiring, and you're likely going to blow yourself out for that rest of the night that you're in Florida, and pretty much a half a day the next day, just by sleeping. And highway hypnosis is real, guys. More on that too later. Another question I get asked a lot is, where should you stop if you're driving from New Jersey to Florida? Our family personally likes to stop in Savannah, Georgia. It's a long leg, the first leg, but once you get to Savannah, Georgia, there's only a few hours left of your drive to Florida, And we'd rather not be driving as much the second day of our drive if we're stopping. We'd rather just have a few hour drive left and then get there. So Savannah, Georgia is usually where we can make it to. If you want to do more of a halfway midpoint, I would go for somewhere in the Carolinas, and that'd be about midway. Savannah, if you can get there. If not, any in the Carolinas somewhere, right off the I-95 interstate. Is the drive hard? The drive is not hard. The drive is going to be how you make it. If you make it fun, it's going to be fun. If you're stressed out, it's going to be stressful. That's what it is. Would I do it again? I do it every year. I do it every year because I feel like it's great. Call me old-fashioned, but I still feel like it's good old bonding time with your family. Like, good old American road trip, right? I just find it fun to do with the family. Alright, that leads me into what to expect. We've taken this drive more times, countless times, than I can imagine. My family's been doing it when I was a baby. I've been doing it for my family now that I'm grown. Taking this drive countless times, and there's things you run into every year without fail. Traffic. You're going to hit traffic. It doesn't matter what time you leave. I'm going to give you a good suggestion when to leave, but you're going to hit traffic. Be ready for it. Rain and accidents. You're gonna hit rain, and you're not only gonna hit rain, it's not like Jersey rain where it could be little drizzles here and there. You're gonna hit a downpour eventually. It just happens all the time down south, and you're gonna have to drive in it. Just be careful, and it'll be fine. And then another thing is an accident. Just drive cautiously, and you'll be fine. Now, why am I telling you what to expect? Because if you expect these things, and when they do arise, it doesn't stress you out anymore. Because I know I took the trip one time originally, and I hit traffic. I'm like, oh, I'm stressed out there. Then I hit rain, downpour, where I can't even see. And then I'm stressed out because I don't like driving in those conditions. And then I've hit an accident. I see an accident, and I have to get around that. And then it stressed me out even more. It made the drive really bad. It got to the point where I was like, why am I stressing myself out? It's gonna happen. It's inevitable. Just relax. And then after that, the drive was not so bad. So this is gonna lead me to my next portion, which is tips. My tips. One of my number one tips that I recommend everybody from New Jersey to Florida drive: leave midnight. Midnight is the best time. You're going to miss all the traffic when it comes to New Jersey. You're going to miss all the traffic in Washington. And you're going to miss all the traffic in North Virginia. Washington, if you are there between the hours of 5 a.m. till probably 7 p.m., it is going to be terrible. There's just so much traffic. Middle of the night is a sweet spot. If you do encounter like road work or an accident or anything, it's going to cut your weight down in half. I've taken this drive midday, and there was an accident right after Washington, and it took about an hour to an hour and a half to get through. And then one year, the same thing, accident, same point. I left middle of the night. I was within 45 minutes. It was still terrible waiting, but within 45 minutes, I was around it and gone. I would leave middle of the night. You have less traffic, and it's just easier. Next tip, pack snacks. Snacks are great. It's a good way to keep you awake. You just munch in, keeps you awake, keeps you energized, keeps you going. Keeps the family happy. Pack snacks. Have snacks in the car. That should be a given. My next tip, which is not so much of a given, which is a life changer once we did it. Sirius XM radio. If your radio is equipped to have Sirius XM, just pay for that Sirius XM. We've done this drive so many times. What are you looking for, Mackie? We've done this drive so many times without Sirius. You have to sit there and find a radio station. Once you find a good one, you leave the state, and then you have to find another one, and then you have commercials that last forever, and you just want to change it because you don't want to listen to commercials on the radio. Pay for Sirius. You have everything. You don't have to flip looking for stations. You got your best one set up. You can just go. There's no interruption. Then if you want comedy, say you're in the mood to listen to comedy, there's comedy. If you're in the mood to listen to sports, there's all sports channels. Interviews, there's everything. Where are you going, Max? I totally recommend SiriusXM radio, without a doubt. Alright, next tip is, if you're going to stop overnight, we used to stop overnight, pack an overnight bag for the whole family. Have one little duffel bag with clothes for the next day for your whole family and your valuables in that duffel bag. Don't unpack your whole car to go in the hotel. That should be a given too. Just have an overnight bag with your clothes and valuables, and that's it. It just makes for easier travel. And the first time I did that, we didn't have an overnight bag, and our clothes were in the luggage, and we're like, oh, okay, what do you want? What do you want? We're sitting in the trunk because we didn't want to unload the trunk, bring them in the hotel room. So we're sitting on the street with the trunk open, going through suitcases, trying to find an outfit. Just pack an overnight bag if you plan on stopping. Another thing is, don't underestimate highway hypnosis. Highway hypnosis is totally 100% a thing. I didn't believe in it when I first heard it. And basically, it's just the repetitiveness of driving and just seeing the same scenery. It gets tiresome. Listen to your body. If you start to feel tired, pull over, take a little rest, walk around, stretch your legs, get a drink, whatever you have to do. Switch the station, listen to comedy. Get yourself energized back up. Once you fall into that I'm falling asleep mode, is almost no turning back from that. So that's not where you want to be. That's like my general tips. I do give a lot more tips on my actual vlogs driving there, and we will be vlogging this year too, and going in depth of where we're stopping, how much we're paying for gas, and what we're doing on the drive. But that's pretty much my tips. So that's it, guys. That's my tips. If you want to see my vlog, which is coming up, on what we do and how we drive to Florida in more in-depth kind of POV style, smash that like, subscribe, and it's coming. I hope you guys enjoyed this. And, oh, last word of advice. If you have any doubts on driving to Florida, just stop. Don't doubt yourself. It's an easy drive. It's fine. It's a one of the best drives. I'll give you a little bit extra content here. We've drove 8 hours from New Jersey to upstate New York, all the way to Canada to see Niagara Falls, and that was a terrible drive compared to New Jersey to Florida. It was just boring, nothing to look at, and it was just monotonous. The drive to Florida is anything but monotonous. There's always something going on down south. There's always something to see, whether it's south of the border, Buc-ee's, all the different restaurants. It's not a bad drive at all. If you're hesitant to do it, don't be so hesitant. And that's it, guys. We'll see you soon. Max, I'm closing the vlog out. You want to say bye? All right, we're out. Come here, buddy. He wants to go somewhere. I'm going to have to drive him around the block now. Alright, we're out, guys. We'll see you.